Okay, so we're back. And today we're revisiting Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of you have told us that the last time we talked about her, it really resonated.
Yeah, it was a turning point in the show, I think.
Yeah, and it really felt like something special happened. And this time we're getting a sequel.
That's right. Yeah, follow-up.
Yeah, so we're unpacking even more about her journey
Yeah.
and her evolving views on self-confidence. And we're really going to dive into her entrepreneurial world with Anomaly.
Yeah.
And understand how she juggles, everything.
Right.
Being a mom, a wife, an actress, a producer.
Global icon.
Yeah, like how do you even do that?
She's got her fingers in a lot of pies.
And what success really means to her now,
Right.
especially after, achieving so much across acting and now business.
Absolutely.
So for anyone who's really curious about the mindset
Yeah.
behind this kind of wild-ranging success, let's get started.
Okay, I'm so excited to hear her insights again. The energy in that first conversation was just so powerful.
Yeah.
And with everything she's done since, especially in launching her own brand, Anomaly, it's going to be fascinating to see how her perspective has deepened.
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Her take on work-life balance really stood out to me.
Okay.
It's like a complete 180 from that almost like glorified idea of constant work, the nonstop hustle, the grind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the hustle culture that we all kind of, got sucked into.
She talked about that too, like romanticizing.
Oh, really?
Like that idea that you're working 24/7, that you're sacrificing sleep and your well-being, and how she's actually really actively moved away from that.
Yeah, and I think that's so important.
Yeah.
For long-term success, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Like it reflects such a more sustainable approach.
Yeah.
Not just in business, but for your own well-being. Like how long can you keep that up?
Yeah, it's not a marathon. It's like a sprint.
Right.
It's not even a sprint. It's like you're just running until you die.
Right, exactly. And then you burn out.
Yeah.
And then what?
She talked about her trip to Turks and Caicos with her husband, and they went completely unplugged.
Wow.
No phones, nothing.
It's digital detox.
Yeah, it was like a real deliberate effort to create space for rejuvenation.
I love that.
And she came back feeling rejuvenated, feeling excited, and really motivated.
Good for her.
So it's not about doing less.
No.
It's about being more effective when you are working.
Right.
By allowing yourself to truly disconnect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that was like a huge takeaway for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like it's not about, just being lazy or not working.
No, it's about recharging.
It's about recharging.
Yeah.
She manages like 6 verticals.
It's vertical.
Like 6 different business areas or something.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, it sounds like a lot.
That is a lot.
But she emphasized that, when she's not working, she's fully present with her family.
Right.
And then, when she comes back, she has that fresh energy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that ability to just really compartmentalize and be present, whether it's work or family, seems to be such a common thread among people who, maintain high levels of achievement over time. You can't just be half in, half out. You really have to.
You got to be all in.
You got to be all in. And then, when you're not, you're not.
You're not. You're off.
Yeah, you're fully present. And it makes you wonder how that whole dream of the shack and Goa has evolved.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah. She still wants that, simple life.
Right.
But it coexists now with,
right.
being so engaged in her work and creating something new.
Yeah, it's not about escaping anymore.
Yeah.
It's about integrating those different parts of your life.
Yeah. Her ideal beach scenario has matured.
I love that.
It's not about, like just detaching from work completely. It's about having that freedom to choose and create on her own terms.
Yeah.
Without that relentless pressure that she might have experienced earlier in her career. The host noticed that she seemed much calmer now compared to their conversation in 2019 and even, earlier in her career.
Yeah, and I think that lines up perfectly with what she said about feeling happier than I've been in a really long time.
Yes.
And her reasons for that were so interesting, like not struggling as much, a sense of maturity and stability, and making choices that are aligned with her desires rather than seeking approval from others. Like that's huge.
That's inner peace right
Inner
there.
peace. It makes you think how much of our own drive is fueled by what we really want versus what we think other people want from us.
Yeah, or what we think we should be doing.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting because even early on, there were hints of this self-awareness.
Oh, yeah.
The host brought up her professional response to Karan Johar on Coffee with Karan.
Oh, way back.
Way back in 2004.
Okay.
When she was a newcomer.
Right.
Navigating like this very intense industry.
Yeah, Bollywood is no joke.
No.
Yeah.
And she was just so grounded.
Really?
She was just like, I'm focused on doing my best work.
That's a good perspective to have.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when you're starting out.
Yeah. And she remembers being so nervous.
Yeah.
And just trying to keep her head above water.
Oh, I bet.
It's
relatable.
It's relatable. Like, we all feel that way when we're starting out in our careers.
You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like that contrast between that early uncertainty and her current, confident presence is wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a transformation.
Yeah. And so the host asked her, why want more?
Right.
You've already achieved so much.
Especially from that beach scenario.
Yeah. Like, if you're on the beach, you're relaxed, you're chilling.
Yeah.
Why would you want to keep striving?
What's pushing her?
Yeah. And she said that, she created her position.
Interesting.
And now she's focused on building a legacy.
A legacy.
Not just for herself, but for her children and future generations.
That's a different level of ambition.
It is. It's not just about, individual achievement anymore.
It's about something bigger.
It's about leaving a positive impact.
Right. Like a lasting impact.
Yes. And she also talked about giving back.
Okay.
Which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
Because she's so grateful for all the opportunities that she's had. She even mentioned, feeling lucky. And wondering if she did something right in a past life.
Oh, wow.
To deserve all this.
That's interesting.
And she talked about her privilege of having supportive parents who really encouraged her to have her own opinion.
That's huge.
Yeah, from a young age.
Right. That early empowerment probably played a big role in shaping her confidence and her willingness to forge her own path.
Yeah.
Not just follow the traditional expectations.
He's definitely an inspiration.
Yeah, especially for women.
Yes, absolutely.
Showing them that there are so many possibilities beyond, those traditional roles.
Yeah, the host was saying, like, she inspires everyone, but you can't deny that her influence on women is just huge.
It's undeniable.
Yeah.
And her perspective on how her generation paved the way for the next is so important.
Yeah.
They fought so hard for agency in an industry that often tried to limit them.
Yeah.
And those struggles have created so many more opportunities for the women who came after them.
Yeah, she talked about moving away from that label of, female-led films.
Right.
She was like, it should be about the individual.
Like actress, politician, athlete.
Right.
Not about their gender.
Exactly.
It's about normalizing female leadership across all sectors.
Across the board.
Yeah.
I love that.
And her message to young, ambitious women, be bold. Make choices for yourself. Even if they go against, what society expects. Cultivate that inner strength and find your own inspiration.
Find your own inspiration.
Yeah. And there was this amazing anecdote about moral science.
Moral science.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically teaching women to be seen, not heard.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, no good girls don't make history.
Right.
It's about challenging those norms.
Absolutely.
And embracing a more like assertive and self-directed path.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Anomaly.
Okay. Yeah. Her brand.
Yeah. Like this is a big step.
It is a big step. Yeah.
Like beyond acting and production.
A whole new world.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because she said that her interest in the business side of things actually started with her mom.
Yeah. Her mom was like, actresses in Bollywood, they have a shelf life.
Yeah, that's true.
So you should start producing.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's very forward thinking.
Yeah.
And, she learned the ropes through producer friends. And she actually became really interested in investments.
Oh, cool.
Like early on, she got involved with Bumble in India.
Okay.
And she was like, this is really important to create a safe space for women.
Right.
And she helped bring that to a new market.
Wow.
So she had that experience of, investing and identifying those market needs.
Yeah, that's a great foundation for starting your own brand.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she did with Anomaly.
Okay.
She saw a gap in the market
for
high quality, sustainable, and affordable hair care.
Oh, I see.
And it wasn't just about slapping her name on a product.
Right.
It was about, addressing a real need.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
And the brand's commitment to sustainability is amazing.
Okay.
They use 100% recycled trash for packaging. Yeah. ocean-bound plastic landfill waste.
Oh.
And the formulas are excellent.
Okay.
Clean ingredients, no sulfates, silicones, or mineral oil.
That's great.
Yeah, so they're really walking the walk.
Yeah, it's not just talk.
Yeah, it's not just marketing.
Right.
You know?
It's genuine.
Yeah.
So what do you think contributed to her success so far?
I mean, they launched on Nika.
Okay.
And they were selling one product every 7 seconds.
Wow.
And they quickly became one of the top hair care brands on the platform.
That's incredible.
And she said she's really proud of creating a good product.
Yeah.
You know, she compared it to making a good movie or a good podcast.
Right. It's that satisfaction of creating something valuable.
Yeah. And it's not just about the financial success.
No.
It's about, you know, the feeling of
right.
putting something good out into the world.
Yeah, making a difference.
Yeah. But, you know, with such a high-profile career and a growing business.
Yeah.
There are going to be challenges and setbacks. Right, like the host even brought up the idea of, you know, career jeopardization.
Oh, yeah.
Like putting everything on the line.
That's scary.
And she said something really interesting.
What's that?
She observed that there might be a lack of, you know, widespread happiness for others' success in India.
That's interesting.
And she linked it to the historical context of colonization and that whole divide and rule strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like that could really contribute to those attitudes about success and competition.
Right, like if you're always pitted against each other,
yeah,
it's hard to be happy for someone else's wins.
Yeah, and she emphasized how important it is to recognize and overcome those feelings of jealousy or envy.
Yeah.
Because you know they're not going to help you.
No, they'll just hold you back.
And she's experienced her own career obstacle.
Yeah, I'm sure she has.
And she gave this very direct advice: don't sit in the shit.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like acknowledge it, but don't let it define you.
Move on.
Move on. Focus on the positive.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with people who support you.
Yeah, that's so important.
You know, find your sources of inspiration.
Yeah, find your tribe.
Yeah, and choose where you invest your emotional energy.
Wise words.
Yeah.
So tell me about her thoughts on faith and purpose.
Oh, yeah. She's a big believer in destiny.
Okay.
And she has a strong faith. And her daily practice of puja and gratitude really grounds her.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And she specifically mentioned thanking for her health, her life, her family, her lifestyle.
Wow.
And the ability to be a nice and grateful person.
That's a great way to start the day.
Yeah.
With gratitude.
Yeah, it's a really powerful intention.
Yeah.
And she also talked about how she achieves her goals.
Okay.
And it's not about, you know, those big, grand, unattainable manifestations.
Right.
It's about focusing on the small next dream.
The small next dream.
Yeah, and working backward.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a very, like, practical and actionable approach.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It can feel less overwhelming. If you break down those big goals into smaller steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And when she thought about what advice she would give her younger self,
okay,
she said not to have stressed out so much.
About
losing her job or her position.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that anxiety that so many young people have.
Right.
About their careers and their place in the world.
Trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, and, you know, even at a young age, there's that fear of getting too old.
Yeah. Society puts so much pressure on us.
Especially on women.
Yeah, to achieve certain things by a certain age.
Yeah, she's 40 now.
Right?
And she's like, you know what, age ain't nothing but a number.
Oh, love that.
And she brought up Falguni Nayar, who started Nika at 50.
Wow.
You know, it's never too late to pursue your passions.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
Yeah, and make a huge impact.
Yeah.
And she also really stressed the importance of your circle.
Yeah, your people.
Yeah, it's like surround yourself with people who are supportive and non-toxic.
Right.
People who are genuinely happy for your success.
Yeah, because those relationships can make or break you.
Yeah, they give you that resilience
to
face the challenges.
Absolutely.
And the host also talked about her genuine and professional demeanor, you know, from the first time they met.
Yeah.
And it really stuck with him.
Yeah. She seems very authentic.
Yeah. And they talked about the challenges of public life.
Right.
You're constantly under scrutiny.
Yeah. You're always in the public eye.
Yeah. And people have opinions about you.
Right.
And they don't always reflect reality.
No.
And she's like, you got to cut off the noise.
You got to tune it out.
Yeah. You can't let those negative comments get to you.
Yeah. It's easier said than done, though.
It is. But, you know, it's important for your well-being.
Absolutely.
And for your ability to do your work.
Yeah.
You know, and there's this assumption that fame makes you detached from normal life.
Right.
But she's still very involved in family events.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And she's like, fame is a byproduct of my job.
Yeah.
It doesn't define me.
That's a healthy perspective.
Yeah. And finally, they touched on the meaning of life.
The big question.
The big question.
Yeah.
And she believes that it's about having purpose.
Okay.
And your legacy is not about fame or fortune.
Right?
It's about what you do between birth and death.
It's about the impact you make.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And she acknowledges that success is subjective.
Of course.
Her version might not appeal to everyone.
Yeah, everyone's different.
And it's about, what am I doing in my life? What do I want to do?
Right.
Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Who do I want to touch?
That's a good question.
What do I want to create?
Yeah. What's your purpose?
Yeah. And finding peace with those choices.
Yeah. That's what matters.
Yeah. The host wrapped up by saying that, he believes in her entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
And he even made a prediction about Anomaly's future.
Okay.
He was very optimistic.
Oh, wow.
But she was very grounded.
Good.
She emphasized the hard work, the research, the dedication.
Right. It's not just going to happen overnight.
Yeah. It's not a magic trick.
Yeah. You got to put in the work.
Yeah. So it was really insightful to revisit her journey.
Yeah.
And get a deeper understanding of her evolving perspectives on success, balance, and purpose.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder that growth is a continuous process.
Yeah.
And even those who've achieved amazing things, they're still learning and adapting and redefining what truly matters.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this thought-provoking discussion.
Yeah, it was a good one.
We'll be back soon with another one.
Okay.
Thank you.